everyone, welcome to today's episode of How to Real Estate. And we are wound up here today, so buckle up because here we go. Okay, so today we have the Brittany Boyd joining us again. We're so thankful that she was able to get away from that stack of paperwork. Brittany, it's February the 5th. How busy have you been so far this year?
It has been insanely busy. Yeah.
Lots and lots of paperwork. So the reason we're asking Brittany to join us today is we're going to talk about transaction coordinator and why that is a benefit to a home seller when you go and you hire a realtor. Me. Are you getting just a realtor who's going to be stressed out and trying to do all of the things? So the way I have scheduled it or set it up is that when a homeowner contacts me, I do the research, I pull the comparables, I put everything together, I go out and meet with the seller, list the property, and then when I come back, that's when the real work starts. There's so much work involved. So we have Jill behind the camera, who we can never quite talk into coming and sitting in the chair. And Jill's job is to help with all of the marketing aspect. But before it even gets to that, we have the transaction or the listing coordinator in this scenario that jumps in. So kind of give us some ideas of some of the things that you do with the listing before it actually even gets on Zillow or Realtor or any of those sites.
Okay, I do the same exact thing for every single listing, whether it is an $8,000 lot or a $900 million property.
900 million. Yes.
Either.
We have several of those.
I'm starting with the basics. I'm going to make sure that the mapping, the addresses, I'm going to pull all the tax parcels and make sure that that's going well. I'm going to find out what the utilities are. I'm going to find out everything that we need to go into contract up front in the listing so that we're not stressed about that later. I'm doing a lot of maps right now. I'm doing a lot of photos right now.
And let's talk about that. So the maps, the important thing about that is that our multi-list and even some of the other sites, sometimes Zillow or Realtor.com, will because we have a lot of county roads or a lot of numbered roads, the home may be in Woodall, but it's mapping out to be in Pegs, right? So how do you correct that?
I don't know. Usually like 9 times out of 10, it's fine on every listing, but then sometimes like Taylor Drive will map at Taylor Ferry or something. So you have to just check and, do your latitudes and your longitudes, and you put it back where it goes.
Yeah, and the importance of that is that prior to Brittany doing all of that, I would list a home. Another realtor would contact me and say, hey, I want to show this house on Saturday at 2. And then on Saturday at about 1:59, the realtor would call me freaking out and would be 20 miles away because they had mapped it rather than using the written driving directions. And then what would happen is they would say, well, there's no way I have time now to show the home. I'm going to have to go show the others. If I have time, then I'll loop back. Here's the key, guys. They almost never looped back, so then we would miss out on a showing. So if your realtor is not taking care of that teeny tiny step, it's massive. The other information that you pull, average utilities.
Yep, the utility companies, that's going to make a difference because some of the, deposits are different, so that's going to make a difference on how much money they're actually netting. I mean, maybe just by $200, but we're gonna tell you up front that you're gonna pay $200 because you live at Stick Ross.
She called it out, didn't she? Okay, Stick Ross Water, we got our eye on you. But that is so important from a realtor perspective also, because when a buyer walks into the home, there's really about maybe 26 questions that almost every buyer thinks to ask. And our goal is to have all of those answers while you're in the home. So if you're another realtor, you want to show our listings, because in the MLS docs, we put all of this information in there. We put it all in there. So that they have it. It's if we have a survey or a mortgage inspection report,
it's going to be there.
if we have the average utilities,
It's going to be in there.
if we know who the utility companies are.
It's there. Covenants.
And covenants, if it's a mobile home, we get a copy of the mobile home title. Oh, the covenants, that's an amazing one because we don't want to be in contract and then find out when the title opinion comes back that there's something in the covenants that the buyer doesn't like, and now we've wasted everyone's time. Yes, so this is all before you see it on Zillow or Realtor or any of those sites. So I think that that's massive for a seller. So if you want to make sure that when buyers are in your home, they have the majority of the answers, then you want to list with a realtor who has a listing coordinator to make sure that all gets done. Because you work 40 plus hours a week, and the majority of that time is doing those things. I work 60 plus hours a week, and there is no way as an individual that I could do both of those jobs. Believe me, I tried in the past and it was not pretty.
You kind of have to focus on it, yeah, for a minute. It's hard to do when you're out in the field.
Yes, yeah. The other thing is that we also consider it to be quality control for the listing. So the important aspects of that is I will have some information written here, and then I put something completely different elsewhere, and she comes in and says, hey, is it this or is it this? And that allows me then to make sure that we get the correct information. Because as I explained to sellers is when I do something incorrect, you're not liable for my error, but we are a team. And so it's not unheard of that there's going to be something that gets onto Zillow or Realtor or to any other website that's incorrect. And what I found 21 years of doing this, I feel like it takes about 9 people that touch the file before it goes on Zillow. And after 21 years of doing this, tracking back to where that error happened, 99% of the time, I made the error. So having Brittany kind of do the quality control up front, that has been a massive improvement on information getting out there that's incorrect. So
also, all of our sellers are free to talk to me and reach out to me. They all get my card and my email, my phone number, complete access up front, and then I talk to them again. I ask them any of the missing pieces, and they know that they can ask me for things instead of Edna if it falls.
Right.
Something I can do.
Absolutely. Let's see, what else? So those are before it goes online.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after it goes online, what are some of the things that you do?
You have to check it again. You have to check it again and make sure that everything that you just did made it on like it was supposed to. Then you're checking all the sites to make sure, because like the addresses, if there's a discrepancy, then it'll confuse the heck out of Zillow and stuff. Then I'm setting up a report so that you are constantly updated of what's going on in your listing, and just asking you for feedback and stuff.
Yeah, because it really is a team effort. The other thing that we do is that we actually have access to more than one MLS. So she inputs it on several MLSs, depending on where you're located. If you're near, Salisaw, Stillwell, Westville, some of those areas will also put it on the Arkansas site. So that is a whole nother level of input and follow up and checking, because you can't just put it on one site and it populates everywhere. She has to go in and check every single one, because sometimes they don't play well with each other.
Right. And then I guess the last thing after everything is perfect, we put it on the list, the magic list, and Jill blows it up. Jill does
the magic list.
Yeah.
And then it goes out.
Yeah.
Now, so those are benefits. Again, I can't imagine if I was selling my home and I magically decided I was no longer in real estate, I would not work with a realtor who did not have a listing coordinator, because there's so many parcels or important information or pieces that you need to get right from the get-go, so that when you launch it, it's not a lot of incorrect information and then you're moving things around. So I think that's important. Now, as far as if you are an agent looking to join a team, how do you think a transaction coordinator or listing coordinator is helpful?
I I don't know. I don't know how any agent can do it without one, honestly, especially the newbies when they don't know all of the the rules and the guidelines. Every single transaction is so different. I just wouldn't advise doing it without a TC. I'm there to I'm keeping them on their timelines. I know when they go into contract and when they need to finish their inspections. I'm making sure that even though we ordered it, it's getting done. I'm yelling at them a lot to turn in their paperwork to me just for compliance, because I mean sometimes they do this stuff and forget to copy me, so I'm just trying to get them. I'm just there to cover them, honestly.
And guys, the devil really is in the details. We've had, again, we've obviously been doing this for so long, but we've seen it go horribly wrong when a realtor misses something. We saw a situation one time where the buyer's agent had marked the wrong loan type, and the file was almost to closing, and the lender wanted them to correct that. And lo and behold, the seller had found a new buyer for a higher amount and refused to sign the correction and let the whole thing implode. If that would have been with us, we would have had that correction or caught that early on. Obviously, if they change loan types, that's a little bit different. But when it's just an error, that is what she's going to do, is go through and make sure that everything aligns and makes sense and gets initialed. I think initials and signatures are another massive fail that we as realtors can fall into, because there is so much paperwork involved, and the majority of it now is done electronically. And when you've just scanned in 26 pages and each of them need 2 to 3 initials, it's really easy to miss that. And technically and legally, without all of those initials, it's kind of hard to hold people accountable.
Right. Making sure we have a ratified contract.
Yes. Yeah. What else? So on also what she does is she has a checklist for the agent. So you can't turn in like everybody has signed the contract. Yay! That really doesn't matter to her. She wants the checklist of all of the things, because if you have a contract but you don't have a finance addendum,
it's not going to go pending.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
If you have a contract but you didn't address where the earnest money goes,
not going to touch it.
If you have a contract and you don't have proof of funds or a pre-approval letter.
Ooh, yeah, sorry, ask again.
But these are things that from a seller's perspective, guys, it's just non-negotiable. And so if you are a realtor in the business or getting into the business, these are things that you would want to really look for. So are you going to be able to work with the team that has those items? So, okay, so that is kind of at the beginning stages of the contract. While you're in the contract, tell us what you do. Let's say day 10. Why is day 10 important?
Day 10 is when inspections are done. I'm harping on the TRRs on day 10. I want it. Yeah, you have to turn it in. I know technically there's more days like in some of the contracts, but I don't care and I don't tolerate it. Everybody on my team has 10 days and they know it. And that's the first track.
Before I had Brittany, I used to tell my clients, day 1, I'm going to say, get your inspections and here's your timeline. Day 3, I'm going to send you a text message saying, hey. Day 5, I'm going to call you and say, what are you doing? And day 8, I'm going to drive to your house, put you in the car, and make you go inspect. I don't have to do any of that now because she pretty much handles it. And realistically so, it could be so easy for a realtor who is in the middle of all of the showings and making sure the marketing is getting done and, trying to get other listings to miss that date. And if you miss the date, you're in a pickle for sure. So that's day 10. Finance deadline. What does that look like?
15 days in, you have to have paid for your appraisal. Turned in all of your documentation and paid for your appraisal, or
we need an explanation. Yeah. And again, if you're a seller, guys, you want someone tracking this information. If you have 2 newbie realtors working together and they don't know all of the things that could go wrong and they're just assuming everything is being taken care of and not following up, you could get 30, 40 days into it and then find out that no one ever ordered the appraisal because the buyer had not paid for it. More likely what happens though is, and we see this a lot, is the lender is from out of area, orders the appraisal, but no one picks it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Brittany is constantly saying, please confirm that the appraisal has been paid for and ordered and picked up. And picked up just means that an appraiser said, yes, I'll take that on and I'll take care of it. And so really what she's saying is, what is the due date? And then if the lender doesn't have a due date, that's kind of a red flag.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then about 30 days in, what are we looking for?
Everything should be done. Title work should be done within 30 days.
So if you do not have a title opinion within that 30-day timeline, you need to worry, because we've had it happen where, again, a lot of times it's out of area lenders are not feeling awesome about their buyer's purchasability, and so they're afraid to incur any fees, and so they have not ordered title work. So now you're 30 days in and the title has not been ordered. And in Oklahoma, that's a big deal, because that also means that the abstract has not been queued, found, could be anywhere. Could be in grandma's chest or drawers, could be at the bank, it could be at a finance institution out of area, it could be so many places. You have to locate it, get it to the title company, and then do an update. And the update can take on average 10 days to who knows how long. Then you do title work. So Oklahoma's a little different. So that's really, really important that these things are taken care of at the beginning.
Our local lenders are not so bad, but yeah, there are some lenders that will wait until the appraisal comes in to incur any fees, and then you're not going to make, usually we have a 45-day close date-ish, and you're not going to make that if you don't start title work until the appraisal comes in 25 days in or so, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So the appraisal is the next item. And what can go wrong there?
It can be low. It can need repairs. That's pretty much it.
And the shocking part is that sometimes they don't tell us that. No, the lender knows, but they don't convey it, or they don't do a great job of communicating it. I think the number one thing, if there's a low value, usually they let us know that pretty quickly. But if there's repairs, it's shocking how often they forget to tell us. They just assume, I don't know what they assume, I guess.
Right. I don't believe anyone else in the appraisal situation. The lender has to say to my face that the value is good with no requirement. I don't believe anybody else saying it to me.
Yeah. But this is also the time that we want to remind you that if you are the seller, the actual value that the appraisal came in, none of your business.
I don't ask.
Believe it or not. If we asked the borrower's lender, hey, what was the amount of the appraisal? They would pretty much slap us. So we do not ask. It's the buyer paid for it. It only belongs to the buyer. But we can ask, was the value met or acceptable? Did it meet the minimum requirements? And are there any repairs? And the repairs, we need photos and we need the verbiage that the appraiser used, because so often the lender will try to convey it in their own words, and then you've got just like a big mess on the wrong repair got made, or, some kind of massive delay. Yeah. Okay, so what about the week of closing? I bet there's nothing to do then.
Then you got to schedule it, man. It's the funnest part.
And what are some of the things that can go wrong there?
Nobody's ready. People are traveling. You have to work around their actual work, real life schedules. That's when we're getting the final numbers in. Sometimes they don't know about a payoff or a lien or something at that point.
They don't sign their electronic disclosures.
Right. Yeah. Within 3 days, the buyers have to sign within the 3 days. There's a lot of steps at the end there.
And sellers, again, I want to remind you, you've got a team keeping up with all of these crazy things. And again, if you are a realtor or thinking about being a realtor, these are things that fall back on you to make sure that you're tracking and staying on top of. One individual trying to do all of this is just crazy. I can't imagine.
Right. Yeah. It's good to have someone separate. I don't care how much the transaction is for. I every single one matters. I want to fill in all the boxes on everything and get it to closing, and that's my goal on every one. I think it's good to have someone that's not worried about, you know, like the clients and the personal and all of that. Like, I don't know what the clients are going through. I don't know who needs to move before their dog is having a birthday or any, like, I don't know any of those details. Like, I'm just like, I'm just filling in the boxes and making sure that we check off all of the things to close. Like they worry about the personal side of it.
But it's really, again, it's having that backup. We're not going to have to say, oh, I got busy and I forgot that, because Brittany's not going to let that happen. She's going to harass us right up until the bitter end. So also, again, with each one of these aspects, she has built-in checklists that send her reminders, and then she can send us reminders. We don't do a lot of the electronic reminders from you to us. She's more of a get-in-your-face kind of gal, so that you'll do it right then and there. It's not something you get to put off. If it goes more than 48 hours with a member on the team, then she notifies me, and then I step in and say, hey, what's going on? What can we do? So these deadlines are really, truly non-negotiable. And if there is something that the deadline needs to be extended, she's your girl for that too. She's going to make sure that all parties are aware, hey, we need a written confirmation that everybody is in agreement that the inspection period gets to be extended, the TRR inspection area gets to be extended, the finance deadline gets to be extended, the closing date needs to be extended. And I think for realtors who have been around for a while and maybe don't do a ton of deals, the old contracts gave you like a 5-day breather room, which was technically 7 days. That's not a thing anymore. Now, occasionally, like maybe once a year, I'll see someone go into the archives, that's how old this contract is, and utilize one of those that has the built-in 5 days, but it is very, very rare, and it is not standard. So make sure that you do not assume that, oh, it'll be fine. Same thing, even if there is a title issue, all parties need to be notified in writing as to what those new timelines are or what we're doing about the title issue, rather than just assuming that everybody is on the same page. Okay, so that is the transaction coordination, why it's beneficial for a newbie realtor or a realtor who is just fed up and done. Get you one. If you're in our market, give us a call. Maybe you can come and work with us. As far as being a seller, if you are in our market, we would love to sit down and visit with you and tell you the other benefits of working with our team. If you're not in our market, we highly recommend that maybe you reach out to us, and we can help you find someone in your market that has the same setup, has a team, and they're not going to be winging it or doing it on their own. So, as always, guys, thank you so much. Please like, follow, and share. Give Brittany some hearts here and some love. And then we got Jill behind the camera who's being shy. One of these days, we're going to get her out in front. We'll let Brittany, we get goals. Not quite. Okay, guys, thanks again for the questions as far as why a transaction coordinator is important. And again, let us know if you have any other questions. We'll try to touch base on them.